All right, so going over our pigeon twisted cross progression. Now we're gonna be using this in a post-workout sense, okay? Just like any of our stretching progressions, we are not pushing into these aggressively. Times our allies. So we're gonna be spending about a minute, minute and a half on each of these holds. And I want you guys to just relax, okay? We're just trying to relieve tension. Do not push aggressively in any of these movements, and be really patient with your body. Okay, some of the stretches that we show you, we'll show you a couple different modified versions of it. Yours, do not get discouraged if yours doesn't look like the best ideal case scenario. Okay, so initially starting off with progression, we are gonna start off in pigeon. So what's gonna happen is we're gonna sweep one leg through. In an ideal case scenario, I would love to see, like Aaron can do, a 90-degree angle with his foot. Now this is fairly difficult for most of us to do, mobility-wise. So if your foot's lower, depending on where you're at on your foot, that's okay as well. Okay, depending on where you're at, so Aaron's gonna go back to ideal case scenario. Whatever direction your knee is pointed, that is where I want you to collapse onto your elbows. Okay, so she's just relaxed here. Leg is nice and straight out. If it's slightly bent, that's okay too. The biggest thing I don't want you to do is holding yourself up. You're just melting into that knee. So just rounding in. We're not gonna do this in necessarily real time today, just for the video's sake, but she's gonna be spending about a minute, minute and a half here. Okay, you're just concentrating on breathing the whole time. Relax. Look for tension throughout your body, and once you find it, just try to relax it even more. Okay? After she spent about a minute, minute and a half here, she's gonna come out of this nice and slowly, please. And she's gonna be hitting the other side. She's gonna come to a neutral position onto her knees, and then she's gonna swipe her other leg through this time. Same thing, just looks on the other side. You might notice that one side feels different than the other. Okay? Don't try to make them both look identical, unless you can. From there, she's gonna have her foot through. She's collapsed down into whatever direction that knee is, just melting into that knee. Okay, you're scanning your whole body, looking for tension. Once you find it, I want you guys to go ahead and relax it. Okay, after she spent about a minute and a half here, she's gonna go straight to laying flat on her stomach, but I want her to go onto her knees first as we neutralize that spine. So I want you to do this progression before we get to our next stretch. So what she's gonna do is go into cobra. She's gonna push her hips to the floor, chest up. Arms are nice and strong, chest is nice and through. From there, she's gonna sit onto her heels, roll her chin into her legs, relax there for a second, as she slowly walks out her hands and gets on flat onto her stomach, starting our next stretch. Now today's progression is pretty simple. We only have 2 stretches. We're gonna hit both sides. All right, so she's gonna start twisting cross off with the arms directly straight out. Now she's gonna start doing her right side first. Now the biggest thing I want you guys to pay attention to is make sure your hand isn't too low or too high with your right arm, that it's directly out from your shoulder. This will be very key. She's gonna take her left hand and bring it tight to her chest, her elbow is nice and high. So it means her left elbow is nice and high, that means her left leg is coming over her right leg. Okay, as she opens up her hips to the ceiling, she's going to just relax. Okay, ideally what I want her to do is rotate that shoulder towards me as much as possible. She wants to look to the ceiling, but at your own pace. Once again, there's no rush here. You're spending about a minute, minute and a half in each of these positions. Okay, wherever your eyes go, your body will follow. So I don't want to make sure that she's looking completely straight up to the ceiling. And I want to make sure her head's resting on the floor. It's pretty common for people to be tensed up and have her head off the floor as they're really trying to twist into it. That's not what we're looking for here. Okay, we're just looking towards the ceiling. We're nice and relaxed. And as you notice your shoulder relaxing and getting more stretched out, you're more than welcome to open up those hips a little bit more to the ceiling. Okay, good breathing cue would be as you breathe in, you're taking a big deep breath, and as you breathe out, that's your opportunity to push off your left hand and open up those hips a little bit more to the ceiling as well. Okay, don't get aggressive, just give it adequate time to warm up. Okay, after she spends about a minute, minute and a half here, she's gonna go back to her stomach, nice and slow, come out of this position. Okay, she's gonna put her other hand out, she's gonna switch sides, so that means her right hand is coming tight to her chest, right hand elbow is nice and high, as she takes her right leg this time over her left leg. Okay, she's paying attention to this hand on the opposite side, making sure that it's directly straight out, which it looks good. As far as this legs go, you can just put it wherever you feel comfortable. Okay, this looks different for everybody's body type, depending on where your mobility is. This is not the focal, your upper body is. Okay, she's looking towards the ceiling. She's concentrating on her breathing. As she breathes in a nice deep breath and breathes it out, she can push off the hand that's been on the floor, opening her hips more to the ceiling, depending on your body's allowance for you to open up. Okay, after she's done there, we're gonna go to one more time neutralizing that spine before we complete. Super simple progression. She's gonna go on, going back to cobra. So she's gonna get hips through, chest nice and tall. Spend some time there, and then she's gonna sink back onto those heels. Rolling in towards those knees. relaxing, giving us our pigeon twisted cross progression.